We just recorded episode 5 of What, Where, Why, and this
Yeah.
episode was about the Carrion Crow.
Yeah.
Normally, this is a patron-only podcast. However, Richie and I noticed that there's minimal Carrion Crow lore out there.
Yeah.
We decided to release this one on YouTube for those who are interested. But keep in mind, because this was originally recorded for Patreon, it's not very good.
Yeah. Do you want to just clarify that's how Patreon works?
Yeah, please clarify it for us, Richie.
Yeah, so we have a very unique Patreon structure where the best content we release is free on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you want to pay for Patreon content, it's significantly worse. And
Yeah.
the more you pay, the higher tier you're on, the worse the content is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like on the $2 tier, isn't it?
Yeah, this is on the $2 tier. So it's still listenable. Yeah.
It's listenable. It's basically just us talking. It's less structured, less edited. The audio quality is not as good. But otherwise, basically, you would basically if we just weren't trying very hard on a normal video. But then, so you can imagine the tiers go up to $50. So you can imagine, once you're getting to the $10 tier, the $20 tier, it's going to be just dreadful. And the $50 tier is I don't even want to think about what's up there, but you can think of it as a multiplier to how bad you want the podcast to be. So $2, it's twice as bad. $10, it's 10 times as bad. $50, it's unlistenable.
Thank you, Richie. All right, thank you, Richie. Without further ado, here is the Carrion Crow. Hi, Richie.
Hi, Sin.
Hi, everyone. Richie, what are we doing here today?
Another great episode of What, Where, Why. I forgot. It's What, Where, Why. There's no when. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And what is the title of this episode, Richie?
Carrion Crow.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Are you...
No, I didn't think you would do Carrion Crow, because I have no idea which ones you're doing. And I didn't think you'd do Carrion Crow, because it's just a crow.
Richie, it's not just a crow. First of all, it's giant. Second of all, one of them has a dog's head. Third of all, one of them has a root.
Oh, okay, we're bringing that into it. Okay, I guess we...
What? No, we're not bringing that into it. We're gonna talk about the other crows that's just still there on trails being like, what's up? Just a crow. Don't mind me.
It's the sort of thing you would do. We did an hour on the lock shield.
What's up? I'm chilling. I'm the lock shield. How are you doing?
No, I've had a few people ask when we're going to follow that up with a wooden shield.
Oh my god. Okay, we should do that. Yeah, next week. Done. I'll just need to build an outline.
Go on.
Okay, by the way, do you hear this in the background?
Is it a Japanese slipper?
No, this is actually water.
You okay?
My boyfriend disallowed me to use glasses because I keep breaking them.
Yeah, so for people keeping track of what order these are in, this is coming immediately after an episode where you talked about how you can't go downstairs without injuring yourself.
Yeah, so I'm now using this plastic cup, and it has a lid with a straw built in.
Mm-hmm.
And it has Harley Quinn on it. It's something my mom gave me a couple of years ago, my mom and my sister. It's really cool and I love it, but I never really used it much because I don't actually drink water much. But since to make my boyfriend feel secure in his house, I'm like, it's okay, I'll use the thing my mom gave me. Right?
Right, yeah.
And so this is really cool. You like drink through a straw, you can carry it around. Richard, look at what I'm doing. Do you know what I did? I just shook the water and nothing spilled. This is amazing.
Isn't this for like small children?
I don't know who it's for, but it's incredible. It's the best invention.
For babies.
But it has Harley Quinn on it. Babies should not be exposed to Harley Quinn. I think this is for adults. Yeah, so this is cool. So now I'm walking around with this thing, and I'm like, if it falls, it's either not gonna break, or it just breaks in a way where there won't be like a million shards on the floor. So it's okay. But also the process of just like drinking out of a straw is really cool. It's like, what's up? Drinking out of a straw here. It's like smoking. That's how cool, because I never smoked, right? So I never got to feel cool. So this is it. This is my equivalent of smoking. I'm walking around with my plastic Harley Quinn jar, just like sipping through a straw. Yeah, I feel great. And also, this has been making me like drink water, because I never drink water. I always drink coffee and I'm perpetually dehydrated. But this is good.
Does it at all worry you that you're not allowed to have... You're not to be trusted with glass at the age of 35.
To be honest, I understand my boyfriend's concern, because I broke a lot of glasses over the course of dating each other, you know? So it's justified.
That concerns me, honestly, that it's justified, that you agree.
So yeah, that being said, if you hear this sound, this is just the ice cubes and water.
Mm-hmm,
if you hear this, that's me like missing the straw and like...
You know what I thought? Not you missing the straw. You know what I thought it was the first time I heard it?
What?
I thought it was you making like a kissy face into the microphone, like, thanks, Richie.
No, that's just me missing a straw slightly so some air gets in my mouth, you know? Like... It's the new era of the snack covenant. Instead of chewing, it's ice cubes and kissing. Thank you, Richie. Okay. So let's get back on track. The Carrion Crow. What is the Carrion Crow?
It's a really big crow that eats dead things, and if you get too close to it, it tries to peck you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Can you explain its size?
Well, okay, there are like regular crows in the game, so you can do a size comparison if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can see when you go into Hemwick, there's like normal crows flying away. When you're in Upper Cathedral Ward, you can see crows circling the building. And if you're in the lower part of Cathedral Ward and you look up, sometimes the ropes between the buildings will have crows nesting on them.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives you a rough idea of like the size of a normal crow in Yharnam. So these are not like, it's not that Yharnam crows are massive, it's that this is a specific kind of crow that's just really, really huge. So they're about the size of like, I'd say they're about 4 times the size of a normal crow. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I think that's a fair comparison.
They're about the size of like a human torso.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah.
Yeah, and they are incapable of flying. They can sort of like use their wings to jump up and get a little bit of air, but then they crash back down again. And they mostly move around by kind of like dragging themselves around on the ground. So they're not, yeah.
It's very disturbing. The first time I saw them, I wasn't sure what they were. I don't even know if I like noticed them. I just saw like some black bile jumping on me and it was very, very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're neat. Okay. Um. So we also have crows that have the heads of dogs.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that?
It's pretty much what you just said. It's a crow
Mm-hmm.
with the head of a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But like, can you explain what's happening there? Why?
No. What do you think's happening?
Well, they're found in the Nightmare of Menses, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Have you seen that episode of The Simpsons? It was a Halloween episode back when The Simpsons were still good.
yeah. That was a long time ago.
Bart had an evil twin that they fed fish heads to.
Yep. Hugo.
Yes, Hugo! And Hugo wanted to reattach with Bart because they were like attached at birth or
Yeah,
whatever, right?
yeah, yeah.
And so he was like, I've been practicing. So he attached a pigeon to a rat.
Yes.
That's the vision I had when I first saw these things.
Yeah, so you think Mikolash is Hugo.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So there are also dogs with crow's heads.
Yes.
Do you think it's like the dogs and the crows messing with us? Just like, hey, there's somebody new coming to the nightmare. Okay, give me your head, take my head, and we're gonna freak him out.
I thought you were like, is it the dogs and crows messing with each other by using a series of unconvincing disguises?
Oh my god, that's even better. What's the end game? Why would they do that, Richie? Is it Halloween?
Well, it's Bloodborne, so like it's very Halloween coded.
So maybe the crows and the dogs are going trick or treating.
Patreon podcast.
Thank you, Richie. Okay. So there's also a crow that drops a rune. Can you tell us about that?
Um, did you want to keep talking about why they have different heads?
I don't know. You were like, you shaded me. But yes, please tell me more.
Because it's in the same spot where there's like pigs with spiders' heads.
Mm-hmm.
And like spiders with human heads.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the idea is like just things in the nightmare can be composites. Because there's all sorts of weird things we don't see anywhere other than the nightmare. Like winter lanterns are another example.
Mm-hmm.
Because some things in the nightmare are things that clearly just came from the outside. But then there's also stuff there that like can manifest as like the manifestation of just weird like phobias and events. So like the messed up animals are probably like a manifestation of the experiments they were doing or something.
Yeah.
Like that species are crossing over into other species and things.
Yeah, what's that? That there's a scientific name for that. I forget. Okay, so I found it. What I'm thinking is of parabiosis.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's spooky.
I thought you meant like your Jenny Hanover.
What?
I think we brought this up another time, the concept of a Jenny Hanover.
Can you elaborate?
Oh, what we were talking about, where you like get 2 or 3 or whatever animals, and you stitch they're dead, and you stitch the bodies together and like sort of rearrange parts and try to pass it off as a like a cryptid,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, and yeah, one of the colloquial names for them is a Jenny Hanover.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about that. So are you saying that Mikolash wanted to trick people into thinking there are cryptids in the Nightmare of Menses?
I don't think there would be much trickery involved because the Nightmare of Menses is already very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the field of experimental physiology, parabiosis is a class of techniques in which two living organisms are joined together surgically and develop single shared physiological systems, such as a shared circulatory system.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, this was a real thing.
Mhm.
And anyone listening to this, do not Google it.
It's pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Um, is there anything else to say about the crow dogs and the dog crows?
Um, Not really.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, so
I guess like people
yeah.
initially thought maybe Mikolash, like those were real things, that like Mikolash had literally combined those things together, like stitched them, but I think it's more likely it's just some weird like nightmare fuckery that produced
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Does Mikolash have any surgical training?
Does he have any training? I don't think the School of Mensis was very well audited at any point. I mean, look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're people who were too out there for the healing church, who themselves were just like,
Oh.
let's infect an entire town with werewolf blood to see what happens. The
Yeah.
other thing, I guess, to point out with the Carrion Crows is that they're one of two things that can, like, natively drop beast blood pellets. It's very, very rare, but they will do it.
What's the explanation behind that?
Because the idea is beast blood pellets are like, literally, it's just coagulated blood that's like formed into a lump.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is like the carrion crows have just eaten so many beasts that the blood has like just formed like almost like a kidney stone in them. So when they die, you can pull it out, and it works like a beast blood pellet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Richie. So there's one crow that's special, I guess.
There's actually two crows that are special. Actually, maybe try playing the game sometime. Maybe try paying a little bit more attention.
Thank you, Richie. Tell me about those two crows.
The first special crow is the one in Hamwick that won't fight you.
Mm-hmm.
It's by the elevator, and no matter what you do, it will never peck you.
Oh.
We're like, oh, it's a nice crow. What
Yeah.
a good crow friend. And then
Yeah.
some people were like, because of course they were, what's the law? What's the reason for this crow? Why is the crow nice to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we found out why it's nice to you.
Why?
There's just a bug, and they forgot to give it AI. It just
Aw.
doesn't have an AI script attached, so it does nothing.
Oh, so it's a chill crow. So are you telling
Yeah,
me all the crows could theoretically be chill?
yeah,
So all the animals in Bloodborne could be chill and you wouldn't have to kill any of them?
yeah. You just delete their AI.
Aw.
Then again, you know who doesn't have AI and isn't chill at all?
Who?
Gurman. Gurman's got the version in the wheelchair. Literally does not have any AI. Dear, oh dear.
Oh my god, Gurman is here. Hi, Gurman.
No, he's left.
Oh.
Bye, Gurman. Bye. He's respecting social distancing, so he can't come on until the quarantine is over.
Okay. Speaking of which, we're gonna have to interview Lawrence soon.
Oh yeah, we are. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then I guess now, Richie, tell me about the special crow in the research hall.
Okay, so the special crow in the research hall. It's up the very top on the rafters where the bells are, and
Mhm.
it it has a custom AI script that means when you approach it actually several of the crows do have custom AI because they're designed to like drop at you on certain points.
Mm-hmm.
It ignores you and it hops forward. And it's not facing you, it's ignoring you completely. It hops forward and it hops toward a window, and then because the crows can't fly properly, it just falls down. And it doesn't die, it just sort of lands with a thud.
Oh.
And then it just sits there looking at the window.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a weird crow because when you kill it, it drops the guidance rune, which is Ludwig's rune. Drops the less powerful version of it. Okay, so a lot of people were like, what? Including me. I think I still have my like live reaction to that, which I hypothesize it is Ludwig's pet crow.
Oh my god, that is so cute!
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I love that.
Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure what it is. Because what I explained there is the crow sees the light ahead of it, the light coming through the window, and it hops toward the window, and then it just falls.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, as an expert on horsefish, can you tell us what the guidance rune like is said to represent?
So, okay. So the guidance rune was discovered by Ludwig.
Yeah.
Along with his moonlight sword.
Yeah. Right. So we've heard that's like the moonlight sword. So what else does it say about the guidance rune?
It like emptied him of his fears in the midst of a hunt.
Yeah, but doesn't it mention something about
little sprites.
Yeah,
tiny beings of light.
Yeah. And then remember like when you defeat Ludwig and his head talks to you and it says like, have you seen the light? There's a light that guides me. So what was the crow doing?
Was it being guided?
It was jumping toward the light.
Yeah, because the light is in the window?
Yeah, it's literally jumping toward light.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure it's getting at that. It's like that crow has also somehow, like I guess it's been in the rafters of the research hall so long that it's like seeing the light, like the cosmic light or whatever through the window, and then it's suddenly possessed by the need to jump toward the light. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, there you go.
That's cool.
So that is, I'm pretty sure, why the crow's got the guidance rune. It's not like some weird random thing. It's very specifically like it's literally coded. Like it has bespoke coding that makes it jump toward light. And it drops the rune that Ludwig's like, have you seen the light? The light is guiding me. And they make a big point about like there's the window is gigantic and there's all this light streaming in through it. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's cool. Thank you, Richie.
Do you want to talk about Eileen? Does she count as a crow?
No, we'll have a separate episode on NPCs of Bloodborne.
Oh, good. Good. Thank you for that little spoiler.
You're welcome. Okay.
I like how we've done this completely backwards, where it's like you start with a deep dive on a shield. Then you move on to like every single badge. Then you move on to like the vaguely defined queens. And then you move on to, okay, now that that's all out of the way, 5 years later, it's time to deal with enemies and NPCs.
Yeah.
And of course, sketchy boss arenas.
Sketchy boss arenas.
We have done this backwards.
It's true. It's true.
We've literally started with the most, like, pointlessly in-depth, pedantic things and moved from that to, like, stuff people were doing in 2015 when it came out.
Well, yeah, the logic is that everybody knows about the big stuff. It's the smaller things that need to be, like, talked about.
But doesn't Eileen qualify as, like, big stuff?
Yeah. So everybody's already talked about her. So while people can get their Eileen lore on other channels, where are they going to get the lock shield?
But didn't you just say we were doing Eileen?
Yeah, but now that we did the lock shield and we covered all the little things, we can breathe like a sigh of relief and we can move on to the stuff that other people already talked about. But at this point, our stuff will be more updated because we have more information.
Yeah, yeah. And we have you, the great Loracle.
Oh, I'm trying to find a comment. Give me 1 second. Okay, so actually, somebody who doesn't have a name in the comments left a comment saying, making a video about the Spark Hunter badge before making a video about Yosefka is a perfect summary of this channel.
Yeah, it really is, yeah. I kind of don't want Elden Ring to come out now, because I think our natural habitat is things that have already been discussed, and you'd think this can't go on. Surely there's nothing more to talk about. And it's under that degree of pressure that we produce our best work, such as the Lock Shield and Sketchy Boss Arenas.
Sketchy Boss Arenas is a work of art, okay? Who
I'm not
else
disagreeing.
would have thought about looking at boss arenas without looking at the bosses?
Exactly.
Do you know that Sketchy Boss Arenas is one of the most viewed videos we have?
Yeah,
It has
yeah.
more views than the time Gary came on talking about a new game.
I like how at the time Gary came on is like a standard unit of measurement now.
Yeah.
It's just every time all things are rated as whether they're more or less popular than the time Gary came on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we covered the special crows. We covered the crows with the various heads.
Yeah.
I guess we can move on to the where question.
Jesus.
Can you tell us, where are the crows?
They're kind of everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're in the sewers.
Mm-hmm.
They're called carrion crows, so like you can see them in the sewers where there's a bunch of dead bodies. So presumably they're like eating the corpses in the sewers.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over Hamwick because Hamwick's full of body parts.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just around everywhere because they're just like, I mean, they just flop around eating bodies all day.
Yeah. And I'm on Bloodborne-wiki.
Yeah.
And here are all the locations.
Now fully funded.
Yes, actually, yes. Big thank you to everyone who came to the fundraiser.
Yeah, yeah.
Yay. The server helped a lot. We really appreciate it.
It really did, yeah. Like a ton of the donations we got came from people in the Sinclair lore server. So thank you, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the wiki is now funded, and that's awesome. And big thank you to Meph for all her hard work. I use her wiki all the time, especially screenshots of various things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on the Bloodborne-wiki, and it has all the locations here. So I'm just going to read them out.
Okay.
And you can tell me if there's anything peculiar about the crow being in this location. Central Yharnam.
No, because it's full of like dead shit lying around. They're just having dinner.
Okay. Cathedral Ward.
That's the same. It's the same city.
Cathedral Ward, Yahar Gulpath.
Yeah, again, it's the same. It's the same city.
Old Yharnam.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're also there.
Healing Church Workshop. Hamwick Charnel Lane.
Oh, it's a different city, but there's still there's still things a crow could eat.
Forbidden Woods.
Well, in Forbidden Woods, they're in those pits that you get stuck. Like they catch beasts in the pits. So I think it's they're in the pits to eat like anything that dies in the pit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yusefka's clinic.
Yep, they're on the roof.
Upper Cathedral Ward.
They're still on the roof. Actually, the ones in Upper Cathedral Ward, they're around a body.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's just like, there's like just like a corpse there that they're picking over.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, doesn't tell you anything. It's just a little set piece.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Nightmare of Menses.
Yeah, they're the ones with dog heads.
Hunter's Nightmare.
Yep, they're flopping around eating dead things in a river.
Research Hall.
That's the Ludwig's pet crow.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I feel like I got off pretty lightly there.
Okay, and now the last question, why? So first let me ask you, why are they called Carrion Crow? What does carrion mean?
Well, carrion is like dead. It's like basically means that they're scavengers, like vultures. They eat things that are already dead.
Mm-hmm.
From really like crows and ravens, they put them in all their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a motif. Armored Core, the main character in that, is called like the Raven.
Right.
In the same way that like in Bloodborne you're always called Hunter, and in Dark Souls you're called Chosen Undead. In Armored Core you're called Raven.
Mm-hmm.
They make a big point of like showing ravens. Everyone's got ravens painted on their mechs, and like the opening of a couple of the games shows a big like raven flying around. So they're just ravens and crows that have decided to chow down on the dead bodies and dead beasts in Yharnam, and I guess that's probably why they're so like weird and huge, because they're just eating like beast blood.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like too bloated to fly, and they're just like that happened in real life to a kookaburra. There's a kookaburra in Australia that lived near a campsite, and all the people that went there kept feeding it sausages. And it ate so many sausages it got too fat to fly.
Aww.
And it had to be taken to a vet and put on a diet.
Aww.
So yeah, so that's what the Carrion Crows are. They're that.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, like we said, there's like normal crows in Bloodborne as well. But the Carrion Crows are specific, because the normal crows will just scatter when they see you, but the Carrion Crows are nomming down.
So do you think regular crows turn into Carrion Crows? Or
They
are
might,
there a
yeah,
whole
I
lot?
guess. No, I think if like maybe if they kept eating beast blood, they might get like aggressive and huge. In the same way, like the people of Yharnam, like there's huge aggressive people there that they've taken in a ton of beast blood.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we also covered why they can't really fly. They're so huge, I guess. They can't fly well.
Yeah.
And we covered why they're huge, because they keep eating like dead bodies and stuff.
Yeah.
And why they're aggressive is because, why are they aggressive, Richie?
Well, they might be blood drunk.
Right.
Because they might have eaten so much that they've just started like thirsting for more and more.
Like, the bodies they're eating, are those bodies blood drunk already?
No, I think it's that like they've taken in so much of the blood that they're like, because like, do you have like crows where you are?
I think so.
Because there's a ton around here, and like they're not aggressive at all. They're aggressive toward other birds because they think another bird's going to take their food, but like in general they'll scatter, and the ones in Bloodborne, like the normal ones, scatter when they. So a lot of people don't even realize it has normal crows in it because they just fly off as soon as you get near them. But these ones, like, they actively attack you if you get close to them, which isn't like normal crow behavior. So it might be that they're starting to like hunger for more and more flesh and blood because of all the stuff they're taking in.
So it's not because they've taken in old blood; they just took in regular blood.
No, but they're eating the things in Yharnam that are full of weird Yharnam blood to begin with.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said if the corpses have.
Yeah,
blood or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Um, before the cleric beast, the first cleric beast fight,
Yeah,
there's a bro with a brick surrounded by a bunch of crows.
yeah.
Are those his pet crows?
Um, yes, yes.
Okay.
Because it's like I have crows that follow me around, so it's the same deal.
So that guy with the brick is a Disney princess.
Because crows are smart, and they're smart enough to they're smart enough to recognize individual humans, like
Oh
pretty
wow.
quickly. Yeah, they can recognize faces and stuff. So what happens is if they sort of figure out that you're not a threat and you might feed them, they just start following you everywhere, hoping that you'll
Hmm.
give them something. So I have like quite a few crows that upon seeing, because I can't tell them apart, but they can recognize me and they see me and they like land next to me and start following me around, wanting like bread and bits of old cat food. So
Oh,
Hmm.
cute. Okay.
Okay,
I guess that about covers it.
that's 45 minutes on the Carrion Crow.
Richie, do the outro.
That was What, Where, Why, Enemies of Bloodborne, Episode 5, The Carrion Crow.
Thank you, Richie.
Thank you, Sin. Thank you, From Software, for making such a great crow.